Hello and welcome back to another short video on the Python basics. In this video, we'll be focusing on scope of variables. When we say scope of variables, this is where and how we call variables within functions. We have two different scopes. We have the local or global. Now, when you come to look at the example that I have right here myself, I've defined a variable y equals 10, and then under that variable, we define a function called def my underscore function, which takes in no parameter, and within the function another variable is defined, x equals 2. Now this function x equals 2 is a local variable because it's locally defined for the function def my function, but y equals 10 is a global variable because it's defined everywhere within the cell. You can call y equals the value of y anywhere and it's going to be returned. It will return the value 10. But within this function x equals 2, like I said, that is a local variable. It's only recognized within the function my function. If I should call x outside this function, it won't identify it, like it won't recognize it. Now I want to try to see if I can print the function inside x equals inside function x equals x, which means that this function is inside of my function x. And I also want to see if I can call y equals y and regard it as an inside function. Let's see what happens. Once I print these two, I'll then return whatever value that we printed out. Then I want to then call my function. So I'm calling my function, and after calling my function, I will print outside function y equals y, and I also print outside function y equals y. So let's see what happens. Remember, we are outputting three different things. I am calling my function. So when I call my function, let's see if it outputs any of the results here. Then I'll also go ahead and call outside function. So outside function is calling this guy value that is outside the function. Then I'll also call outside function for the next line. So when we run this code, you notice what happens, right? It gives us inside function x equals 2. So Python was able to identify the function, the variable x equals 2 that is given within the function. That is what has been given out here, output. And then it also was able to recognize the inside function y equals y. Even though y equals 10 is a variable that has been assigned in a global terms, it's not defined within the function called my function. Yet Python was able to recognize it within the function. Why? Because it was globally defined. All right, now that we can see that it's globally defined, when we called it, you can see inside function y equals 10, that is what was defined within the function called my function. Python identified it. But when you come over again on outside function, Python still identify the function, the variable defined outside globally y equals 10 when I called it using the outside function y equals y. But the last one, outside function x equals x, Python had issue recognizing that particular function because it wasn't defined globally, but it was defined locally. It was defined inside a function. So Python was not able to recognize that function because it was inside a function. But the variable that was defined globally, Python was able to recognize it within a function, and it was also able to recognize it outside a function. Can you see that? The last one was what threw up this error, name error. It says name x is not defined because x is not defined anywhere outside other than it was defined inside. So what I mean is, let me just quickly add something here. If I should define a global variable for x and I call it, say, x equals 5, now when we run this function, please note that this error message that pops up here will no longer be there. Rather, we would have this last print output displayed, but instead of having x equals 2, which is a local variable, we would have x equals 5, which is the global variable defined out here. Let's see that in practice by running this cell, and let's observe what happens. So you can see now that we no longer have an error message pop up, but rather we have the first output, which is the inside function. It was printed out as x equals 2. The inside function y equals 10 has been printed out, and then it printed out the outside function y equals 10 and the outside function x equals 5 because I've assigned a global variable called x equals 5. Again, let's return back to our previous stage, particular stage. When I delete the x equals 5, which is the global variable for x, and I run the side again, it will end back, giving me the same output. Let's run this variable again. I think I should have, oh, interesting. So it's no longer giving me, it has already registered x equals 5. So it's still seeing that by that, oh, my x is 5, and even though I have deleted x equals 5 from the statement. This is very interesting, right? Very, very interesting and funny. I expected this to give me return an error and say, oh, I can no longer find x equals 5, but that is fine. That is how some programming languages behave sometimes. They behave very funny manner. So I believe with this concept you have been able to explain the difference between local and global variables, and by now you should know how and where to define your variables when working with functions or working without functions. All right, so you can go ahead and test on these other global and local variables. Here we want to declare a global variable within a context, and we'll use the global keyword. So even though x here is defined as a local variable, it's seen as a local variable because it's defined within a function, but because we use the global keyword, global is a keyword, the global keyword will make x become global, so that even if we call x outside the function, it's also going to be recognized. So as you can see in this case, no error showed up because I have declared x as a global variable, although it was defined within a function. All right, so whenever you want to do that, you want to use a variable outside the function, okay, all you need to do is declare it to be a global variable using the keyword global. All right, I hope that explains this. Finally, I have some exercises for you guys. Please go ahead and go through this particular Jupyter notebook. Look at the different questions to be answered and put in your inputs and get it answered. All right, that's it for now. Okay, I would like to say this real quick. That you find a place where you would need to submit your exercises in the classroom for those of you who are taking a course on Python for data analytics. But if you're a random viewer on YouTube, we would also find a way to share this notebook so you can actually practicalize what you're watching from this course. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do have a wonderful time. See you again in the next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Repost these videos. If you have questions, please drop your questions in the comment section, and any feedback you have for us. Of course, we love feedbacks, and of course we love to improve. Please drop the feedbacks also in the comment section. Do have a wonderful time. Goodbye.